I will tell you, in the beginning, I was needle phobic, right? I was not a fan. I didn't even like going and getting my blood work done when I first started doing years ago. I get IVs now, like it's great. I mean, and it's all about the practitioner as well. I assure you that. Like, I just look away. I personally, I'll tell you my thing. I just throw my AirPods in, right? Don't let your fear of needles or anything hold you back. Welcome back to the Aging Backward, Growing Forward podcast. On today's episode, we're going to talk about the topic of IV nutrition therapy. It's a topic that's near and dear to my heart as I do this service often for myself, for my overall health and performance. A brief history of IV therapy is its beginnings are in medical facilities and hospitals. God forbid if you ever had to go to a hospital for something, you got injured or you were very ill, it's the quickest way for them to get medications into your bloodstream and other treatments that you might need. Well, it's certainly changed and evolved, and now it's made its way into wellness and health practices where they use IV nutrition for optimization of your health and your performance. So IV therapy or intravenous therapy offers direct nutrient delivery to the bloodstream. It bypasses the digestive system, it's for maximum absorption, and its immediate effect. And there's several different types of IV therapies, especially when it comes to health and wellness and optimization. And we'll dive deep into some of these popular ones, and we'll talk about some of the ingredients and what those ingredients actually do. So some of the benefits of IV therapy for overall health are wide-ranging. They begin with rehydration. I don't think most people realize just how dehydrated they are when they're walking around every day, especially in the summertime. We don't consume enough water during the day, most people at least. We're certainly active and stressed and all these things, that caffeine, these things dehydrate us. And it gives you a feeling of unhealthiness. I think most people, when they start with IV therapy, the first thing that they feel is the hydration effect. And that's most important. And we'll talk a little bit about that hydration effect. And on the other end of that spectrum are people that just want to bolster their immune system or their overall health because they're nutrient deficient. You know, unfortunately, we can't get the nutrients we need from foods today, the way they're cultivated, the way the crops are grown. There's a litany of reasons. And we talked about this in prior podcasts. We talked about nutrition, about how difficult it is to get good nutrition from the foods we eat today. So you have to do supplementation. So when it comes to immunity, though, there are very specific, quote unquote, cocktails in IV therapy. In fact, one of the most popular cocktails at serotonin is the immunotherapy one. It's the one that provides specific nutrients. And I'll talk about each one of those nutrients. The primary one that you'll find in an immunity cocktail is the ingredient of vitamin C. And vitamin C is a potent antioxidant that supports various cellular functions for the immune system. It's also known for its role in enhancing the production of white blood cells. That's lymphocytes and phagocytes. It also helps the body against infections. Some of the benefits of vitamin C is it can reduce the duration and the severity of just the common cold. It aids in wound healing, and it combats free radical damage. Vitamin C in and of itself is a great nutrient. You will find this in many, not just the immunity cocktail, but you will see this in lots of IV therapy cocktails. Another ingredient that you're going to find in an immunity cocktail will be zinc. Zinc is a trace element that's crucial for the maintenance of immune system health. It influences the activity of hundreds of enzymes, and it plays a role in development and function of immune cells, including neutrophils and natural killer cells. Zinc supplementation has also been shown to reduce the length of the common cold and act as a powerful anti-inflammatory and antioxidant. And it also has a great benefit to the immune system response. You'll also find vitamin B complex in most of these cocktails. Vitamin B, including B6, B12, folic acid, they all play vital roles in immune function. For example, vitamin B6, it's essential for biochemical reactions in the immune system. Vitamin B12 is crucial for white blood cells. It's also, there's a lot of neurological benefits and cardiovascular benefits for vitamin B12. Adequate levels of vitamin B12 can help prevent infections. It also can help support the immune system. You're also going to get quite a bit of energy from having a good amount of B12s. B12 is what most people call the energy vitamins. Vitamin D is another great nutrient that's found in immunity cocktails. Vitamin D has a modulatory effect on the immune system. It's crucial for preventing infections and autoimmune diseases. It enhances the pathogen fighting effect of monocytes and macrophages. These are the white blood cells that are really important parts of your immune defense, and they decrease inflammation. Vitamin D supplementation has been linked to reduced risk of respiratory tract infection and may improve the response to antiviral treatments in some cases. There was a whole study done on low vitamin D and COVID. That's like a whole nother rabbit hole we can jump into. You can Google that stuff and find it out. Some really cool information there that supports some of the stuff we're talking about. Another ingredient that's often found in the immunity cocktail is selenium. Selenium is an essential mineral. It has powerful antioxidant properties. It helps lower oxidative stress in your body. It reduces inflammation and enhances immunity. Some studies have even shown that increased selenium intake can enhance the immune response against infectious diseases. That's why you'll find it in these cocktails. And certainly last but not least is glutathione. That's one of my favorites. Glutathione is the master antioxidant. Glutathione is becoming really, really popular. It reduces oxidative stress, and it plays a critical part in the body's detoxification process. Glutathione is something I've done that in intramuscular injections, and I've also done that through IV. IV is a fantastic way. Whenever I'm traveling, I'll do just a separate bag of just glutathione. So sometimes we have the immunity cocktail bag we just talked about, and then separately we just do a separate add-on bag that I do for just straight glutathione. It's a higher dose. If I'm going on an airplane, I'm going to be traveling, especially during cold and flu season. Glutathione is a great, I call it, it's like my insurance policy. It's just a great way to make sure that my body is optimized to fight off and defend itself. When those components are administered together as part of an IV therapy for immune support, the ingredients work synergistically. They're working together to enhance the body's ability to fight off infection, to reduce inflammation, and to promote overall well-being. Another very popular IV therapy is the performance and recovery cocktail. This is probably my second favorite because I do train a lot, as you all know. I exercise a lot, so I'm often trying to get myself to recover quicker. And, whether it's muscle soreness, whether I'm just run down because, working longer days and then still trying to keep my exercise regimen. This cocktail has similar ingredients to one we just discussed, but there's a couple of added components that are crucial to why this one is special. So the first obvious one is electrolytes. Electrolytes, including sodium, potassium, calcium, magnesium, they're all crucial for hydration and maintaining the body's pH balance. They regulate nerve and muscle function. They hydrate the body. It helps it to rebuild damaged tissue and helps control blood pressure. Replenishing electrolytes post-workout is obvious, right? It's essential to preventing cramping, dehydration, and it facilitates recovery. The next batch of ingredients that you'll find in a performance and recovery IV are usually amino acids. Amino acids like leucine, valine, and isoleucine, those are your BCAAs, your branched-chain amino acids. You'll also find some of the essential amino acids in there. Usually you'll find L-glutamine. L-glutamine is excellent for recovery. These amino acids, when administered through IV, can aid in faster muscle recovery, they decrease muscle soreness, and they promote protein synthesis. We mentioned magnesium earlier when we talked about the electrolytes in the performance and recovery IV. Magnesium needs a little special attention because it's really an incredible supplement. And there's lots of different types of magnesium, by the way. But magnesium post-workout is really important for muscle soreness. It can reduce the inflammation. It can support restful sleep, which is critical for recovery. So magnesium is really a nutrient that needs to be highlighted here because it is really important for post-workout recovery. You're going to see there's some common nutrients that are rather repetitive in some of these IV cocktails, like vitamin C. Vitamin C is also very good for muscle recovery and workout recovery. If you're not supplementing with vitamin C, you probably should be. Most people are deficient in vitamin C, but if you're exercising and you're working out, it really is helpful for repairing tissue, especially after intensive workouts. The B vitamins, again, we call them the energy vitamins. They're great for brain function. They're great for cell metabolism. The B vitamins are usually also in a recovery and performance cocktail. It's also going to get you that kind of like that pep in your step back after your workout. You're going to feel depleted. You'll get all those nutrients back in, especially if you had a workout where you really just sweat it all out and you left it all out there on the gym floor. Getting these types of cocktails, especially with the B vitamins, that's going to give you that feeling of energy and that you're recovering. And last but certainly not least is zinc. Zinc is important for immune function, protein synthesis, and wound healing. It plays a role in muscle repair and growth, and it supports your immune system, which after working out, you have to remember your immune system could be weakened after intense workouts. So it aids in that repair of muscle growth and tissue and also gives you a little layer of immune protection. So this particular IV for me is one that is a consistent, where the immune system one is I only do seasonally. I do it when I'm either traveling or if I'm coming into a certain time of year where I know everybody's getting sick. Whereas the performance and recovery is year round because I train year round. So for me, I might do this one once a month. I might do this one every 2 weeks, depending on how beat up I am, depending on how my body's feeling. And again, you're listening to your body, you're paying attention and seeing how you're performing. If you're dragging in the gym 1 or 2 days in a row, you probably need something to get your body back. Your body's talking to you. It's telling you either you need more rest. So what I'm doing here essentially is I'm speeding up that rest period time. I'm giving my body all the nutrients it needs to recover faster so I can get back and get after it again right away, as opposed to waiting 2 or 3 days to recover. There's lots of other different types of IVs. Another very popular one is a Myers cocktail. I call the Myers cocktail the kitchen sink. There's just a ton of nutrients in it. It's a great blend. It's a little more expensive in most places, but there's a lot of good nutrition in a Myers cocktail. Something you're hearing about is becoming very popular is NAD drips. NAD drips are longer. I mean, NAD is becoming like, it's in the anti-aging world. Everyone's talking about NAD supplementation. How do you get it? What's the best way? Is it absorbable? So people are trying to do it through IV. It's a slower drip. Most people go through almost like a little bit of a flu-like symptom after their first NAD drip. When I say a slower drip, by the way, I mean like you might be sitting in the chair for 2 hours, maybe longer. Because if you speed up that drip, you'll actually get most people will get a little bit of stomach cramping. And after it, there's a detoxification effect that kind of happens. So there's a second IV you can get that will kind of take away maybe the nausea. It's almost like a flu-like symptom because your body's detoxifying when you do that particular IV. And then your body gets used to it and it's doing what it's supposed to do. Very cool. Most places will put you on a curriculum for that type of IV because it's got to be very specific. Some people just need hydration where they're just getting a fluid bag. Literally, it's just that's all they're getting is just fluids in their body because they're so dehydrated. And interestingly, they feel incredible right after because they were just so dehydrated. It's amazing how many of us just are walking around dehydrated. And when you get hydrated properly, you just feel better and you think like, what happened? Like, it's almost like people, it almost has like a caffeine effect. Like you just feel that energy again. There's even IVs for hangovers and it's got stuff that makes the brain fog go away. Again, that's another hydration. Most people are very dehydrated when they're hungover because alcohol will dehydrate you. And then there's some other nutrients in there that help with your stomach. So there's good medications in there also. So I think as you're listening to this, you'll see there's a lot of different uses and benefits for IV therapy. The one thing I'll tell you, and I like to always qualify this, is, go to a reputable place that's doing this. You should go through a full-on consultation where you're talking with a medical practitioner and you're listing what your challenges are. Maybe you've gotten some blood work done and they can use your blood work to see where your deficiencies are. That's probably one of the best and most accurate ways to do this stuff is you say, hey, I'm low in vitamin D, or I'm very low in B12, or there's blood tests that have all of this information that can help you and your practitioner make a really good decision on what IV and what nutrients might be beneficial for you, because you can maybe do specific types of IV drips that have just the nutrients that you need, or maybe you get an intramuscular shot because maybe you're low on vitamin D and you can just get a vitamin D shot. But again, you have to speak to your health practitioner, get proper guidance. This is not something you want to do willy-nilly. Make sure you do due diligence on where you're going, the practitioner, and know what your needs are and make sure you can marry up the type of IV therapy with what your specific needs are. And they may change over time. Again, you may have a deficiency and then you fix that deficiency. You also might want to do regular vitamin supplementation with oral supplements post some of those therapies to continue optimizing your health. So often you might get an IV therapy, you feel good, but then you've got to do something daily because you've got this deficiency. So there's a great place for oral supplementation as well, taking your vitamin packets and your pills alongside of this. They work together. But when you really get run down and you're really getting sick and you just need something that bypasses that digestive system, it's impactful, it's fast. IV therapy is a great protocol to try. Again, you always want to be with a great medical practitioner. Make sure you've got a qualified person that you're sitting in front of that's going to talk you through this and educate you and help really dial in and make a very specific plan for you and your needs. If you want to further educate yourself on some of this stuff, there's great resources online. Even the Serotonin Center's website, we've got a link, about IV therapy there and has some more information. But there's lots of great resources. I will tell you, in the beginning, I was needle phobic, right? I was not a fan. I didn't even like going and getting my blood work done when I first started doing years ago. I get IVs now, like it's great. I mean, and it's all about the practitioner as well. I assure you that. Like, there's some wonderful, wonderful practitioners that are just incredibly comforting, and they're just great at doing what they do. They do this all the time. I just look away. I personally, I'll tell you my thing. I just throw my AirPods in, right, and I just crank up some. Usually, it's 80s rock, as you guys know. It's my big thing. And off we go. And then once it started, I've worked on my laptop when I was on it. I've taken naps when I've gotten them. I've done it all. Like, I'm telling you, like, if you're someone that's watching this and you're a little needle phobic, don't be. They're very, very thin needles that most of these places use. It's great. Don't let your fear of needles or anything hold you back from experiencing the potential great benefits that IV therapy can have for you. So I hope this episode has been helpful for you if you've been curious about IV therapy and you just weren't sure where to start. As always, make sure you do your own due diligence, get a good health practitioner in front of you. I'm always trying to just give you a couple of nuggets to take away for your health to make you optimize your health and performance. That's what this whole podcast is about. Make sure you like, subscribe, and follow, and we'll see you back on the next episode of Aging Backward, Growing Forward.